Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. Where are they now? In Johannesburg, South Africa, on a cold winter's evening. Those who know the show, those who follow the show, they know this is all about celebrating the lives of legendary South African artists, international music people, anybody that's to do with the music business. Anybody who's contributed to this beautiful mosaic that has built the backbone of South Africa's music history. We get to share their journeys and amazing experiences. We are the lucky witnesses to these lives so well lived. Tonight's guest, a formidable force in the music industry. From composer to multi-instrumentalist, from session work to studio owner, classical musician to rock, adult contemporary and pop, you have to acknowledge the man behind the accolades, Mr. Keith Hutchinson. Good evening, Keith.
Hello there, Cindy. Thank you for having me.
Lovely. Fantastic to have you here. Awesome. We're very excited. All your friends in South Africa are very happy to see you again.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing them again one of these days when we come back and visit when we're allowed.
I'm sure you will be, but because of the COVID thing, they're not letting anybody go anywhere.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a thing. You've moved to Ireland.
We have, indeed. And we're in the Central Republic of Ireland.
Okay.
It's lovely and green, and there's bluebells everywhere, and now the buttercups are all coming out. And before that, it was rapeseed fields, which are bright yellow. And there's hillsides and fields and cows and sheep, and it's
I love
a
it.
little lane that we can walk down together, and it's really nice. Look, the weather. You've got to always have a jacket and umbrella with you because it can change. A lot.
Sure.
But right at the moment, it's been a gorgeous day so far. But I see some clouds up there.
Yes, I'm sure they'll change. It's that European kind of thing, that it's like anything can happen.
Yep, but there's this, it's this sun, rain that, keeps the place green. The Emerald Isle.
The Emerald Isle. It's very famous for that. So how did you get from where you started? You were born in the UK?
I was indeed in the Royal Borough of Sutton Coldfield.
Okay.
As my mum used to love to say, Sutton, Sutton's okay. But the Queen apparently pitched up, once, and so it got the status. And that's northeast Birmingham.
Okay.
With the early bird catches the bird.
Wherever you started, it was something. So let's talk about the young Keith for a bit. The boy starting out, the call of music. What came first? Piano? What? How did it start?
Okay, 9 years old.
Okay.
My dad had a piano, and they both played a little bit, but my elder brother started first, so he was a couple of years or so in front of me, and then I had to take it up too. An instance would be I was practicing, and Sid, my best friend, came to the front door. Can Keith come play football upfield? And my mum said, no, he's got to do his practice first. And, I banged at the piano. That's when Dad comes and bangs my head. So that was, and my teacher was 80 years old, and so was her piano. And the whole,
I love that.
That's on a thick carpet, and I was 9, small.
Yeah.
But I couldn't make that piano move. It's because it was on a thick carpet and very unstable. And she had a 12-inch wooden ruler. Whack!
Of course.
This is the kind of thing that inspires you to become a musician.
Oh, yes, it does, because you know you're going to have a life of hell. If you're going to be slapped around all the time, that's the right thing.
All I really wanted to do was play football with my friends and there's a field up the road, but that was not to be, thankfully.
Thankfully. You were steered in some kind of direction. Just to say hi quickly, Tony Gaza, Tony, my darling, he's saying hi to Keith.
Hello, Tones. How's it, mate?
Hey, Tones. Jeff Owen from Cape Town. Jeff, thanks for coming on. And Marion always comes to see us. Marion lives in Germany.
Okay.
She is a big fan of what we do here. Thanks for being with us, darling. So, all right.
Do I get to see the chat on this side here?
Usually, if they push, they push. When they push their little thing, then you can see there.
I can see
that. Can you see?
Hello,
hey,
Greg.
Hutch. Greg Penty. Quiggie's there. Oh, lovely. Nolene, she's a big fan as well. Hi, everybody. Greg, it's so nice to see you, darling. What did he say? Flatliners already. Oh God. Well, we're still fresh. Okay. So you started on the piano.
Yeah.
You wanted to play football with the boys, of course you did, but you persevered. And did that go on till school? Did you start playing in school concerts and all that stuff?
No.
Okay.
I did Royal Schools of Music exams, but only over a 4-year period. I did 2. When I was teaching back in South Africa, I had annual exams.
Yes,
she really dragged it. Some of the teachers back in the day, they would really drag it out, and so I only got 2 done back then. And I was, we left South Africa just before my 13th birthday. Turned 13 on the Stirling Castle. For those who may not remember, there were ships that travelled from Southampton to Johannesburg, not to Johannesburg, to Cape Town, 6,000 miles, and it took 2 weeks.
You went on a ship.
That's
how you got there. That's
dog.
Lovely.
Yeah.
With your little dog.
We had all these pamphlets that showed us, come to sunny South Africa, and this gorgeous blue sky and all the rest of it and sunsets. And so my dad, let's do this thing.
Well, it was once.
Yeah, right. As we came round the bend, to Cape Town.
Cape Horn, yeah.
Come round the bend, turn in left or whatever it was. It poured with rain.
Yeah.
As we saw the mountain.
Welcome to South Africa and have a nice day.
Yeah.
Keith, when you came to South Africa, it must have been a bit of a change, from the UK, of course. What was that like for you as a young boy? You were like, 14 or something?
13 when I arrived. Yeah. Had 3 months where we hovered in Vereniging. Vereniging.
Got it.
Vereniging.
Ging. It must be ging.
Yeah. And my dad got a job with Eskom.
Okay.
And
damn, where is he now?
And we went from there to Springs.
Okay.
Where he was in charge of I'd say a small power station there.
Okay.
And I remember having I took up clarinet, by the way, at my 3rd year of piano.
Okay, that was I was going to ask. The next question was, you moved on to a lot of different instruments. Just so you people know, Keith plays insane stuff, from piano to alto to tenor to soprano to flute. Those are saxes, by the way, to clarinet, bass guitar. Anything you can bloody think of. Josh Sclair is saying hello to you, darling.
Josh, how's it, mate? Hello. Pino. Hello, mate.
And Pino and Dave Evans.
Whoa.
Jenny Horton, born in V-Town.
Vita.
That's a good name for it instead of Verena Ging.
There you go.
V-Town, I like it. Okay, so then you took up clarinet, and then that started sort of the role.
Oh, well, you can imagine this 11-year-old, you know, with my teacher was a big man and he had a big nose. His name was Mr. Broad, and his nose was broad, and it was kind of flat on the end like this. I mean, you could have put a teacup and saucer on there, you know. I'd try and blow my clarinet and I'd be looking at his nose all the time.
And laughing, of course.
Well, you try to be polite, you know. I mean, you know, one has to, you know.
Just telling you that Monique Hutchinson Lawson is on, and Derek De Beer.
Monique, hello, Derek. How's it, mate? Yeah, yeah.
This is going to be an interesting show.
My nephew's wife.
Okay, brilliant. Derek's not your nephew's wife, right?
No. No, he's not my wife either.
You guys played together for a long time, though. I know. Yeah.
We first started in Durban when I was 17.
Wow.
We got
Juliet.
But we only had a small run then. Then I went off doing other stuff, and he was at Prelude, and I think Fantasy. I'm not sure.
Fantasy. I remember Bookie in Fantasy, this wild animal on the stage.
Hey, the dude plays. He plays. He's solid, absolutely solid. Hello, Juliet. How you doing?
Hey. And Roberto.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you all, please do shine your light on so that Keith can see you as well. So Keith, we're talking multi-instruments, and we're talking moving out of school and starting bands and stuff. I got to mention Hawk. What a thing. It was legendary.
Indeed. I was about to leave. I went back to Springs from Joburg.
Okay.
Played in a few different bands, and then I got myself a day job. I was saving up my money, staying in my mum's house, and I was going to go back to the UK.
Okay.
There was all this talk about, you know, that Pom's going to have to get into the army with the rest of the lads. And I'm not doing that thing. Sorry, you know. And
so you were running from the draft.
I'm running from those dudes. Yeah. I'm not going to be shooting people.
No, musicians don't shoot people.
Anyway, Richard Johnson, who was the bass player for Hawk, it wasn't really Hawk at that time. He was playing with the band called The Flood at the Troubadour. Okay. Yeah, Mike Dickman was there.
I even played at the Troubadour when I was a little girl.
Next door, there was a nasty little club called Futurama.
Okay.
And they had a band called Toad. Toad was made up of moi, Brian Herber, who was the drummer of Hawk, Gordon on guitar, and Graham Williams on second guitar. And so that was one of our last gigs there. But we met the guys next door because Mark Kahn and Dave Oz, one Ellis, would go to the Troubadour a lot and play there, and they got to know Richard. So there was now the three of them, and then so I don't know about the conversation with Brahm and joining, but
yes, Brahm.
Richard came out to see me in Springs, and said, we'd like you to join the band, and we need you to play sax and flute. I said, I don't play sax and flute. I was a bass player.
Seriously?
Yes.
What? You were playing bass at the time. I bet you were. Well, Tim
Bogart was my hero from Vanilla Fudge.
Oh my God! We'll talk about bass players. Gary Finsale. Gary's there. Fred Sayers is there. Gary Finsale saying, "How's it, Keith?"
Smart your beard and new glasses. If you look carefully, you see what I've got here.
It's not really a beard.
It's an upside down droopy.
From those days.
I'm thinking, if I keep going like this and go around, it can join up with my eyebrows. and they'll be bigger than pole dogs.
Cover then. Julian, have we got any photos of Hawk and maybe a video? I think we do.
No, that's one of the first bands. That's Psychic Existence.
Okay. All right.
He is on the left in the checkered pants.
Checkered pants. I like it.
And then in the middle is Terry Akers, who
Terry.
He built Pro Sound.
Pro Sound. We know Terry. Gary worked for Terry for years.
Yeah.
And who's the other little chap?
That's Ronnie Mitchell. He's still around and living in Cape Town.
Okay.
And we played a bit of Hendrix, and we played the blues and all that kind of stuff. And
what were you playing at the time? Were you playing bass?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was about 15, 16 there. I was 17. This is with a band called Toad. This is Toad. That's Graham on guitar there. And I got my beautiful Fender Jazz. Do you remember a band called the Navarros?
The Navarro.
Come on. All the Springs guys that are here, you remember the Navarros with Colin Bradley on drums. We went to Freedom's Children, yeah.
Yes. Oh my God.
Anyway, Dave Patterson was the bass player, and I heard he was selling his bass, and I bought that Fender Jazz. Was about a 6061, one of the very first. And
you still have it?
I wish I did.
Did you sell it?
There's another tale I can sit here tell tales about what happened with regards to that. So too long, but anyway.
Okay.
Pity. I'd love to have kept it. There we go.
There we go. What a band.
Older, you know. Jeans with patches all the way up to the family jeans.
Yes, of course. Listen, Hawk was pure animal, male, rock. I'm telling you. I used to go and watch Hawk at the Lemon Squeezer.
How's that name for a Catholic church?
No, a Lemon Squeezer. I used to stand there mesmerized. Look at those boys. They were like, oh, I loved it. There's Davey. Oh, bless his soul.
Now, this is in 75, though. These pics were taken by Mr. Searle, Maxwell Searle, Don Maxwell Searle.
Okay.
They're really good pics. Look at the, you know.
And
you can even see I had some muscles then.
Is that you?
That's me.
Wow.
I didn't believe that either. I know. It's weird.
It's incredible. It's beautiful. Beautiful photos, man, with all the guys with the hair and.
He had a whole bunch on Google Drive, and he was going to give me access before this, and I was really hoping to have him for this interview, but alas.
No, it's fine. Look at this at the Oxford Hotel in Rosebank,
which is and in the basement there was a place to create a club, which we did, called the Glove and Talon, the perfect name for Hawk, and. It was
amazing.
That's where those pictures are that you've just seen. We were playing, Ellis Park.
Look at that.
Rock Spectacular.
That's so beautiful. Radio 5.
I don't recall the gig anymore. Look, Julian Laxton Band too. Band of Gypsies. Yeah.
200 Rand only. Book it, CompuTicket.
$200. No, that's £2.
Is it £2?
Yeah. Listen, in my photo album, which is not here, it's still in storage. You know, I've got
£2
of pink tickets, little square things about that big, from the ice rink in Durban. There was a band before called. It was in 1973. So that's right, with Louis Ribeiro.
Oh my God, Louis! Yeah.
Barry Irwin on bass. Brahm on drums again, and Andy Dimitri on guitar. Did I say that or what? Barry Owen, but that's right. That's the lot. We used to play the Audience. Remember Audience, House on the Hill? Jackadaw.
Oh my God, yes. Oh my God. I love that band. Audience. Wow.
How did I get there? We got here to museum. I digress for a moment just to come back.
No, it's fine.
Tickets. Yeah, I wrote a rock opera.
Little tickets.
Yeah, I wrote a rock opera that the band learned to play, and
Yes.
we were down in Durban at the ice rink, and I've got the tickets from there. £1 a ticket
Unbelievable.
to get in.
See, I
So,
saw
whole
this thing
story,
and I
just to
thought,
tell you,
is that
it's
200? No, it's fantastic.
it's hard to
We
believe what it
like
is
to
now.
hear
What
these. No, well, now it's 200 Rand, but then it was 2 Rand. I want to play that video
which one?
of the song, of that song.
The Hawk song.
Drums echo through the valley as the first fingers of light paint the sky with the fresh colors of morning. And so, the day begins. Little darling, it's been a long and lonely winter. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I said, it's alright. The smiles are returning to the faces. Little darling, it seems like years since they've been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. I said, it's alright. I feel the ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it seems like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun. It's alright.
On an old dry tree. Yes, it is a bud. This means the coming of springtime. And with springtime comes the sun. That hot old blazing sun rolls on down from the north to the south. That hot old sun that makes the world vibrate. Makes you vibrate. That hot old sun that makes the birds migrate from the east to the west. I can feel it, I can smell it, I can touch it, I can breathe it as it shines on down. I can feel it coming on now, I can feel it coming on stronger. Oh, here it comes, 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 here it comes.
Wasn't
Yeah.
that something?
Hey, Oz.
Oh my God, that was something. It was like showmanship, you know, like give us a show. I mean, Hawk was all about that. So you were playing sax there.
Yeah. That funny guy in the white t-shirt. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw you. I got
Yeah.
it. So, okay, so like coming from Hawk, which was kind of like a well-known band, right?
Yeah. Can I say something about like city hall concerts and things like that? You know, we
Of
had quite
course.
a array of African drums. I think there were about 17, if I recall, plus the African friction drum, which I would
Yeah.
sit on the floor and you wet your hands and you play with the cane.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah. And,
Yeah, I've never seen that. Wet your hands and you play with it. Oh, that thing. That thing. Okay, got it.
Then we had like some 400 Coke cans, you know, filled with, not filled, with a few pebbles in each one with a piece of sellotape
Yes.
over the hole.
Yes.
And we used to throw that out to the crowd. And so they'd be stomping feet, clapping hands, shaking
Oh
all
my
these
God.
cans, like 17 drums going ballistic, plus the drum kit on stage, and chanting, you know, the good old.
It was an
"Whoa,
experience.
oh," whatever, you know. It used to be madness, you know.
That
people
is
hanging through,
madness.
windows and stuff. It was just, yeah. It was cool.
But
It was
that's
good.
that.
It was a
Well,
good
of
journey.
course, it was absolutely magical. I'm sure. I mean, to start off with something like that, and to have so much audience participation and appreciation. You know, it's not always in all our bands and in all our endeavors that we get to shine like that.
Right. I agree.
You know, yeah, because we have some huge experiences, and then we go to play with another band that's just kind of like, well, we're used to playing in good bands and doing always the best that we can, but it might not have the same effect and give us the same feedback or hot feedback. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you know, Hawk went through quite a transition. I mean, you know, I left Jan of 72, end of January.
Wow.
And there was an issue with management. You know, I prefer not to go into negative stuff, you know. Let's get
The management story is such an old story. We all like,
you know, Peter Hunt was Hammond organ. That changed the sound of the band radically. It was the only time I played keyboards. I played a grand piano at the City Hall or the pipe organ once.
Okay, wow. Pipe organ. Wow. That's something.
Anyway, Peter came in with the Hammond. Brahm was relieved of his position on drums, and Ivor Back came in. Julian Laxton on guitar, and then there were I don't know if it was the Malombos or there's, you know, and there was all this added stuff. And that's the Joburg Hawk, not the original band, Joburg Hawk, which went over to London and recorded with Tony Stratton Smith. Like, was it Chrysalis? Was it something like that? Or Island?
Wow.
Was it Island? Island Studios.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah. So they did that thing, and then eventually they sadly had to hobble back because of what the manager did and messed things up. So they all had a very difficult time getting back to South Africa. You know, so I'm quite happy that I made my change when I did. You know.
Yes. Well, you know,
I joined the Rising Suns. Can you believe it?
That was what I wanted to ask. What was next? What was after Hawk? Because, as you say, you know, from one, you might make a decision about something, and you don't know if you've made the right decision because, the band went overseas, and maybe they're doing well, and maybe I screwed up, or whatever it was. But you didn't. You made a good decision.
I think so.
And then Rising Suns, also a really good band.
But truthfully, it was only 4 months. You know.
Yeah.
And it was a bit too commercial for my taste. You know, Hawk was, you know, would be a bit more adventurous. I mean, I
Yes.
can't say it was perfect, you know. I mean, I think in any musically there were issues, especially when I look back at it now.
Yes. But
Um,
then again, what is perfect? I mean, what are we looking for here? Are we looking for the perfect sound, the perfect combination? That changes, I think, all the time, Keith. I mean, at one time, Hawk was perfect for you and you were loving everything. I'm just using it as an example. And then some other band you go, oh man, this is it. And then you go work with some other guys, or you in the studio and you're producing something. Now, this is it. So I think as musicians, we are so lucky to have so many rushes, so many highs, lots of lows, but so many highs and so many
It's up and down.
senses. Yeah, senses of perfection.
Emotional roller coaster. You know, absolutely.
Absolute. And that's our thing. So from Rising Suns to where?
Rising Suns was 4 months. You know, with
Yeah.
Jess Wars playing trombone and Hammond, Eddie Boyle, who's left us.
Eddie!
Mally
Funniest
Watson
guy on the
on
planet.
you know, on
Mally.
the 335.
We
and
love
so
him.
Dave on drums.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, there was still some fun down. We're playing downstairs at the what's it called? It'll come to me in a minute.
Don't worry.
Anyway, no. So I saved my pennies and then left for the UK in late July of '72.
To do what?
I was up Liverpool way to start with, and then ended up in NW4, Willesden Green. That's just in London area, and
Were you?
I went and had a rehearsal with a couple of bands, you know. It didn't pan out, and so I started looking for a job, and the only one I could come across was that of a milkman.
A milkman.
Yeah, at 4 o'clock in the morning with a
I love it.
ice cold bottles and juice. No, let me tell you something. I didn't do it. I packed up and I came back, went back to South Africa. What bugger this?
No, this is not a good job for a musician, especially to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I went to this gig and it was punk. I mean, they were revolting. I mean, they were vomiting from the stage or throwing bottles, and I thought, well, what the hell is this? What I didn't know, and I wish I did know, is that like Sting was around.
Oh my God!
You know,
yeah,
and
me too.
Police was, you know, coming along, and anyway, maybe if I'd known that, I would have offered my services to the keyboard player.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, you know.
Yeah. Anyway.
You know, if you had known, you're also a big fan of John McLaughlin, right?
Oh yeah. It was returning in '73 that I discovered Mahavishnu,
Sure.
The Mounting Flame, and then after that, Birds of Fire, and my life changed. You know, at that time. I stayed in Orange Grove at a friend's house for a little while. He had an upright piano, and I sat there messing around with. I had no idea that I didn't know the word modal. Never mind. I had no idea, and I mean, I had more of a classical background, so I understood something about majors and minors. You know, not about altered scales and etc. and Lydian and Phrygian and so on. I found this sound, and it was, I know what it is, that was Phrygian. And it's been with me till this day. And I heard In a Mounting Flame, and I went, oh, crikey, listen to that. That's that thing, you know, that I was kind of exploring a little bit on my own. I'm not saying I was in any way ahead of McLaughlin. No, I'm not saying that at all. I fiddled a little bit. It was just a taste of it, really. And he had created this incredible band, you know. I mean, they're giants, every one of them. Jerry Goodman, Billy Cobham, you know, Jan Hammer.
I mean, really, Cobham's also one of my my absolute favorites. Look, I was never into the sort of the off prog rocky kind of thing, you know. That sound, I appreciated it because I'm a lover of music. Just because I've sung rock and pop and folk and country doesn't mean I can't appreciate that
No, of
stuff.
course not.
You know, and I appreciate any kind of brilliance in music. I mean, I appreciate both Beethoven. Do you know when you see somebody do something? So you were doing something different in those days, and you've always lent towards that, Keith. That is kind of your sound, and it has a brilliance. And I'm not sitting and stroking your ego. I'm just talking fact that anybody that's heard you play or knows what you can do and all those ads you did and all the music scores you've done, you've pulled everything that you know out of the hat and created your thing. And I think that there's a lot of merit in that.
I also went back to study. I did a big band course with Berkeley, but it was more traditional, but gave me insight into that side of things. I went back for piano lessons with a great teacher in Durban. I only remember his first name, George. And he, you know, as I said to you, I'd only done the first 2 exams.
Okay.
And he said, play something for me. And he said, well, you're certainly not grade 3. I'm putting you into 7.
Ooh.
And
Wow.
and he started getting me to play things from Alan Rawsthorne, Gordon Jacobs, and I don't know the other guy's name, but it was some strange harmony stuff, but not like Mahavishnu. This is more
sure, different.
So he was opening up my head, and I practiced like a maniac. We're at a resident band, Razzmatazz, Glenville, Brahma again.
Oh God, yeah.
And Jeff
All
White,
the boys.
and we were there for I think 6 months, and there was an acoustic piano upright on the stage. So I went in there at 7 o'clock in the morning, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Going to finish playing at 1. I was back there on my own, practicing until 10 o'clock when the band came in, and then I would run the band until 1 hour lunch, then rehearse 2 to 5, go home for dinner, come back and play from 8 to 1. The band started to play. And I wrote something called the Tarot Suite, a major arcana, 22 pieces, and that's what we started getting into. But then the club gig ended. We came back up to Joburg. We're at Electric Circus, and Selwyn Miller came to see us.
Selwyn! He's been on the show. Selwyn's brilliant.
Wearing those black shiny leather pants and the black shiny, and his golden curls on top. And and we played one of the pieces. It was actually Justice, and 17 minutes long, and it was complicated. We worked pretty asses off on that thing. And when it ended, he said, yeah, can you play Tie a Yellow Ribbon?
Yes, that's Selwyn. It's got to be commercial. Got to be able to sell you. Got to be able to sell you. How can I sell you when you do this stuff, you know? Selwyn. I love it.
And then Kendall was the drummer in the band by then, and Kendall
K. Yeah,
he'd been over in Berkeley, and he was
he's great.
So Jeff White, Kendall, Glenn, and myself, and Glenn and Kendall are now going to have to go off and do 2 years in the army. That thing.
Oh, it was that thing. So guys were young.
We were trying to play Tie a Yellow Ribbon and all the rest of it. I called a band meeting and I said, look, guys, now we've actually had a marvelous time together up to this point. I personally don't want to go and do that stuff. Maybe we can do it with other people, other gigs, other bands, but to take what we've done and now break it down to do
dilute it.
No, you're going to the army soon. So let's call it a day now. And that was it. We all agreed, shook hands, packed our gear up, and moved on.
And also, doesn't that happen quite a lot? You know, life gets in the way. I'm just looking here. Josh saying Johnny Faree was friends with John McLaughlin.
I know.
And very much within the development of that model approach. Johnny Faree was just also something else. I'd come in very young then, and I used to go to the and there's Natasha. Hi, Dad. That's so cute. And Derek is also saying, can you read what he's saying? When you played The Rite of Spring for him.
The Rite of Spring, yeah. But it's not R-I-G-H-T, Box. It's R-I-T-E. It's a right.
Derek spells anything the way he wants to.
That kind of stuff.
He's allowed to. And then you've got your nephew, I think. Hello, Uncle Keith. We are going to be talking about Johnny Clegg now. I just wanted to show a few photos just before we go into the Johnny Clegg story. Julian's got a lot of photos there of Keith's younger days. Woo! You know, there we go.
There we go.
There we go.
I've still got that waistcoat.
I bet you have. Does it fit you?
They were amazing.
Beautiful.
Somebody in Paris did them for us, as far as I know.
Wow.
There's me in my funny clothes and the yellow jacket. the bohum outfit.
You know, it's a ho-hum outfit, eh?
Yeah.
We love that stuff, man. Come on. You know, it was the whole thing that started that. It was just a new thing for all of us. We loved it. Fabian.
You're talking about the Savuka, Jaluka Savuka.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you know, the that new sound that we were introduced to.
It was a different look that he put together too. You know?
That's what I'm saying. It was a different look. It was an African crossover thing that was palpable to everybody.
One of my favorites back at the beginning, which is more or less what you're looking at there, because that's my old rig, the very first one. Anyway, it's Third World Child.
Yes. Yeah.
It was the title track of the first album.
Yeah.
And it had like an African kalimba pattern that I had to play, which, you know, it just had such a groove, and the message of that song. Yes. You know, it's really about the migrant workers having to come to the Black Man City, you know, and wear don a suit and tie, you know, and which is not that wasn't the way for them, you know. Had to join in what it was in the white man's world, you know, and become. But he was a third world child.
And Johnny, Johnny touched. He was able to convey those messages in a way that, I say again, was palpable. It was acceptable. He got away with it because remember what our government was like in those days. We were all being ostracized. Any musician playing with a black musician was like, I mean, I was in Zia with black. I mean, I remember one day playing in the Jolly Roger in town, and these business guys were having a business lunch, and they started screaming at me, "How can you dance with these, you know, all that stuff?" I got off stage and I said to the guy, "Please don't be so rude," and he punched me.
What?
He punched me in the face. This man.
What did you do?
Well, I went flying, and I just screamed for my drummer, who I was dating at the time. He was an animal. And I just screamed, "Patrick!" And he got all the guys from the band, and they took out 12 of those businessmen. They just took them out. They just made them into mush. But the point was that we saw firsthand of what was going on. And Johnny was able to do it in a way that was just so accepted. And of his background.
I mean, the fact, you know, I mean, every concert, I mean, there were so many things that he would stand up the front and explain to people.
Explain.
the journey
He
of
was
the song,
telling us
what it's
the,
meaning, you know, and
the
meaning of the God.
anthropology of it all, you know, because that's what he did. The
Exactly.
anthropology. So, people, we are now talking about Keith having this incredible experience. You've had lots of incredible experience. I'm not saying this was the best or the worst or the anythings of your
It
life.
was a fantastic 10-year
I'm just,
journey. Whoa.
that's what I'm saying. I
It's a
bet
big
you
piece of one's life, you know.
it was a huge piece of your life and a huge something that will stay with you for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
So, how did you come in? How did you come in? So Christmas. How did you start with Savuka, and was Gary playing in the band with you?
No.
Okay.
No. Jabu was the first bass
Jabu.
player.
Okay.
It was crikey, blank again.
Don't worry. Who was playing drums? Wasn't it also
Box.
was Bookie in there? Because there was another black drummer before that even.
Yeah, that's right. But that was Juluka.
Juluka. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how did you get it? I mean, did someone call you?
Steve was Jabu's brother. Sorry, it's come to me now. Steve was the other keyboard player. On the other side, right? Yeah. Bass player. Jabu was kindly asked to go after about a year, and Solly came in. He was. I'm afraid Jabu was drinking too much.
Yes, of course.
And couldn't deal with it anymore. And so Solly came in, and Solly, what a bass player.
Yeah.
Wonderful to play with, you know, like a sound check. I just play some little phrase. He was there on beat 3 in the right, playing the thing, you know.
Yeah.
So it was great to have a little jam with him, you know. And Box. Yeah.
Well, they're killer players, man. I mean, Bookie is like a drummer to end all drummers. I mean, to even play with someone like that. And who else was in the band?
Well, Solly, Steve, Mandisa.
Mandisa, of course, she's still there.
That was it. Yeah. Andy Innes came later.
Later, much later, yes. So who was playing lead guitar?
There wasn't. Johnny played guitar. Period.
Johnny played, that was it. Yeah. Sounds like a song.
To play all those Zulu picking things.
Yeah.
Patterns, not things.
It's a different thing.
And sing the line too. I mean, that was quite tricky, I think. You know.
Yeah, that's a different kind of thing. You know, it's the same as like playing Indian music or playing Japanese music. It's like it's got its thing. It's got its certain way. You can't play Zulu music and play jazz. You know what I'm saying? It's just got to be what it is. Let's talk about the travels and the experiences. You guys went overseas a lot. France was huge.
14 shows at the Zenith, one after another, packed out every night, people down the streets trying to get in. It was, see, we went, our first trip over was in '86. It was and we played at a festival in Angoulême. They call it a jazz festival.
I also did, yes, Angoulême.
And, you know, then '87 we played some smaller venues, a club here and a little small theatre. Went back again, played a 500-seater, then an 800, and building all the time. Through '87, and then when the Silver Mustaki, who was the agent for Europe, started booking, he had the individual agents in every city and town.
Yes.
And working with. Well, he had to cancel everything with them and say, we cannot do this on the deal that we had, because the bookings were going through the roof. You know, Marseille was 25,000, Lyon was 40,000, gigs in Paris at a stadium 70,000. Biggest one was in Le Havre, 110,000 people in the middle of the city.
Oh, it's just Oh,
It
beautiful.
it was quite something. Anyway, so the Zenith was part of that particular tour.
Yes, of course.
To have 14 shows, consecutive shows, at that level was brilliant. You know,
The band must have been so tight at the end of that. You couldn't put a pin through any of those loops, man.
no cracks.
You know, no cracks. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My keyboard player from America is online, Anthony. I'm sure he was going to come on and watch you because he's a keyboard player himself. Hey, Ants. And Anthony in Spain always comes on to say hello as well. Just to let you know, we're not alone out there. We have people. I'm just like
Hello,
checking out.
everybody. Hang on. I've got these funny things happening on the side of my head. Wait a minute.
They're called
Get some
sideburns.
raw cream out.
Sideburns, darling. Okay, let's talk a little bit more about that because
Lyon.
I mean, Lyon. I mean,
there's a tale. There's a tale. But it's a once.
please.
Lyon. 40,000 people booked. Next door, Michael Jackson's concert.
I remember that. You guys, I remember. We heard the story.
12,000
heard
people.
The
And he
story.
cancelled his show.
He cancelled his. People, are you listening? Everybody out there, whoever's listening, Michael Jackson had to cancel his show because Johnny Clegg was bigger.
3.5 times more people.
I love it.
But you know, I always say, you know, adding on to that, the tail of that piece of the journey.
We heard that.
Let's
We
not
were like,
forget there was a once-er, and that was Michael Jackson. Bless his heart, wherever he is. That was Michael Jackson, an absolute monster star.
yes,
you know?
yes.
So it was just a phenomenon of that particular day in history. You know, I don't think it
in
ever
France,
happened
in
with
Paris.
anyone else. So that was Lyon. You know, yeah.
But you know, that's one of the ones that we always remember. You know, if somebody says, "Hey, give me a highlight," that's got to be one of them.
Here's a different story. In Antibes, on the coast, stage backed up against this kind of wall there, and the other side is this beach, you know? Well, where do you think all the guys were? Staring over the wall at all the naked chicks on the beach.
But of course,
Well, we've got to play now, you know?
we're going to see the naked white ladies.
You know how Johnny does that circular thing, drive as he does. He that walk when he's playing,
Yes.
you know, and he's doing his Zulu picking thing, and he does a kind of walk that goes all the way around. Well, he go right round by the wall also and have a peek.
But of course, all the ladies, the little naked ladies. Oh my
Yes.
God, Keith, what a thing. Tell me about Amnesty International and that stuff. That was beautiful stuff. Hey?
Amnesty, we played in the Ivory Coast.
Yes.
And
Côte d'Ivoire.
with, a couple of minor other acts. You know.
Yes, of course, like Sting and Peter Gabriel. Blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
Boring, boring, boring. Oh my God.
And Bruce Springsteen.
Springsteen. He is an icon. Also.
Tracy Chapman.
Tracy, brilliant. It was part of he's got something of that. Look at that. Yeah.
That's the album cover for Shadow Man.
I love it. What else you got there? Whatever you got, Jules, show it to us. He's got lots of stuff. I was thinking about that tour, the Gabriel and all that stuff. Look at you. Where was that?
At the German school in Joburg with the Dixies. With the Dixies. So
That's right. The Dixie Hillbillies.
Yep.
Okay.
With the Hooker and Co. Now that's in my studio, and that's from my album Inside the Loop. I had 9 sax players, including myself. There's Julian Wiggins. There's Barry Snayman. Big George.
Oh my
Stacked,
God.
Kelly Patlani at the front, and McCoy and Rabata there. He's got a
McCoy,
nice
my
look.
boy. Love him.
And there we had John Davis playing trombone.
And Denny on bass.
Denny played bass, yeah. So, and Kaya McClungu, he couldn't be there for the and he played up a storm on
Sure.
They all did. And Brendan Ross, there's a track there you've got called Six Tricks. If you're gonna the Dogs. If you're
You
gonna
were
play,
with the Dogs. You played with the Dogs.
Instrumental. Six Tricks is a track featuring Brendan Ross, and he blows his ass off on that. It's beautiful.
Wow.
It's a great solo, yeah.
You were in the Dogs,
I was.
but
that's I wasn't. I was an addition, but
okay.
on a very regular basis.
But Gary was playing there.
Yep, I used to throw myself out and head on down to the Roxy in Melville and have a few toots with the guys and blow my ass off all night, and that was it. Just join it.
It's like, the Dogs. Nicky Nick. Unbelievable! Hey? Woo! Whoa! That is tasty shit, man. That is tasty.
It was back, what was it, 2003, I think.
Woo!
But it was, the whole album having 9 saxophone players, all doing their own track. The rest of it's programmed, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, I think it was a unique project. Inside the Loop.
Okay.
It was nice to have them all doing their own thing. It was really good.
That is so nice.
Was the other saxophone player, Kelly Patlani. He and Phil Holder.
Oh, Phil. Oh, my God, we love Phil. Phil's
Yeah.
power as well. Listen, there's Phil's still around. I mean, I see Phil all the time. He's a darling.
He was a student of mine in Durban, Donkeys.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and I love him to bits. He's a lovely person.
What a great guy. You've done so much other stuff. I'm glad that this came in. I'm glad we heard some of that. And I'm glad we talked about some other stuff because, I mean, the amount of producing you've done and the amount of, I mean, you did all those shows with that Strictly Come Dancing, like something like, how many seasons?
6.
6 seasons.
It was
of
actually
that.
7, yeah, but I didn't play on the 7th.
Okay. So, I mean,
I was co-arranger. Joe was the MD, Joe Arthur.
Yes, I know.
Co-arranger with him. Over the 6 seasons, we did some 500 scores.
you see, now that kind of
And I've
stuff
got a
is
tale
like,
to tell.
wow. Please tell us.
Yeah, we'd write all week. Get the stuff together and all the parts and so on. And then on, was it Saturday? Saturday, yeah. Yeah. And so we go in the afternoon, just after lunch, I think, set up our gear and start rehearsing. Now, you had to be able to play anything from the hardest tango
Yes.
to big ballads, like Non-Klankler would do them, like Streisand type things. Awesome singer. And Klankler, she's incredible. Anyway, to rock tracks, to things from Star Wars.
Yes.
Like the Darth Vader theme. I had to do the score for that. And I had to play it. You've got like this massive string section, and I've got some strings on a keyboard, and all 10 fingers are going 1.5 minutes of that, and I can tell you, can I go have a cup of tea now, please?
That is hectic. Oh, I've got a message for you from Alistair Coakley. Please tell Keith that I send him and Julia lots of love, and tell him he is one of the most bestest ever. I bet you.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so I mean, that kind of stuff is like, it pushes you to your limits at all time. I mean, 10 fingers. I couldn't do it. I could never even play lead guitar because my fingers don't work like that.
So what happens then, though? Then the the dancers start dribbling out, so to speak, one by one or in couples, onto the dance floor to practice while we're playing. Now it becomes difficult to stop and fix something. So,
because they were dancing.
And we just talked about it later and got it right. And before you know it, you're having a bite to eat, and then the show starts. Wow. That is it. That's as much practice. You're scoring your backside off all week. Come in, learn the stuff. And it was some of it's difficult. That's what I'm saying. It was really difficult, some of it, you know? And all these different styles. I mean, we only mentioned a few, but there was so many styles to have to play.
I can imagine. And all those things, those dancing.
If you want to take up tango, you're going to spend your life playing that music. It's really something else.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. But I think, being considered a great musician, is that, do you think you get defined by being able to play anything?
Do I get defined by it?
No. Yeah, I mean, is that like, hey, Keith is a good musician because he can play anything? That's what I'm saying.
Well, what people might think of me, which and sometimes kindly and sometimes unkindly, that's okay. I might cry about it, I might laugh about it. It's whatever. At the end of the story is that I don't believe ever that I will get to the proverbial there.
Gotcha.
And I thank God for that revelation, that I understand that I will never, ever know it all, and you just keep, so it's just open to keep going and going. And one day, Peg, and that's it, you've done your best. But I mean, have you ever listened to Lily Boulanger?
No.
Heard of Nadia? Nadia was a great teacher. And in fact, Professor Peter Klatsko in Cape Town was a student of hers. She taught Boule also, and amazing people. I think Stravinsky was connected to her also. But her sister was dead at 24, some terrible disease. But her music is sublime. It is just outrageously incredible. So if you want to look at something and listen to something that's a little bit different, the harmonies are a little bit different. It's not so weird. It's not like Schoenberg or something like that.
Yeah.
this is just amazing stuff. Lily
Lily?
Boulanger. Lily, then Boulanger. Boulanger.
I'm going to look that up.
I mean,
I
and she
love
does all
seeing
this
new
stuff,
stuff.
like in this short space of a little life, and stuff that stands with the greats, you know.
So it's like really whatever you make that is out there, however long it is that your music life is or whatever, it's not really relevant. It's just the fact that you're still doing it until you don't do it anymore.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You know, I mean, we all have different aspirations within the music business, and
Yes.
business, that word out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Business.
Yeah. And it's, you know, yeah, we have to make an income. Like, there's no doubt about that.
Of course. No, sure.
That. It's the passion and the love of musical sounds, you know.
Hallelujah. That's it.
This is what, you know, what keeps me hooked all the time, you know.
And
finding new
That's my
artists,
thing.
new
Yeah.
sounds and things that
Yeah.
are going. I mean, the world that there's a keyboard player now and synthesist. One, I mean, it's just so wide. You know, when I was a little boy, what we got violin players, and clarinets and pianos and that kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, the machines have taken it to a completely different level, you know, and the fact that we have Cubase and Logic and Nuendo and Pro Tools and Bigwig and all the rest of them, you know, it's brilliant that you can sit there. I sit over there and I
all day.
My pretty ass off over there, you know.
I love it. But isn't that what it's all about?
On, and everything's within the machine, you know.
Yes.
So,
as you know, and there's some people that
I can't work with other
it.
musicians. The time will come again.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got to use what you got. You know, I love a live band. I always choose that over machines. I don't use backing tracks, blah, blah, blah. But there are times when I have to do something different and I have to use a backing track or something like that. So I think the fact that we've got so many options is so phenomenal, because nowadays with all those things and Pro Tools and blah, blah, and whatever, Logic, and you just sit, as you said, you just sit there and you create and create and create, and there's no end to it. There's no end to it.
No, I love it. It's like, I mean, I think people growing up now just don't realize how fortunate they are. You know, for me, there's the one issue of certain companies, I won't mention names, that put out chord packs now. It's not just sample packs, but you know, chord packs. And you get some dude like, and he throws this audio file up onto a track. You know, I say, you know, it's just a hand movement, you know, to make it look cool. And there's this laid back groove, you know, and maybe some nice kind of jazz fusion chords actually in the one I've heard. Hey, this is so. What's the word they use? So big. It's so hip, man. It's not hip's not the word that they use. You know,
It's
dope. It's dope, man.
It's dope. Okay.
This is my new song. Excuse me. You know, and the guy who's selling one of these products, he sits there brazenly says to the public, you don't need to learn theory. You don't need to learn to play an instrument. You don't have to know anything about music. You don't have to know. You can sit there and just put these things together. And, well, you know, I wrote to Rick Beato. Do you know who he is on YouTube? Yesterday.
Yes, he's the guy that does all those teaching songs. Yes,
Professor Rick. Anyway, you know, and he was talking about why is music so boring? why is music so boring? So, he was coming to the C, A minor, F, G story, and the limitations of that. So I wrote to him about these companies and these packs of chords and sounds and whatever, and that they're saying that they don't have to learn music. Well,
Yes.
if you don't want to learn to play music, then go away and do something else.
I know.
Go
But
away.
for them, it's the new
what happens if
thing.
they take this one chord, this one cycle? We've got E flat, minor 7 flat 5 with the 11th on top, to an A flat augmented 5th with a sharp 9 on top, bear with me, to a C minor 9th crushed in, to a G 13th with a 9th crushed in the middle, next to the 7th. And it's a nice chord sequence. If I had the keyboard handy, I just quickly play it. But
Yes.
and I said to Rick, I said, look, so many of these guys are going to use the same chord sequence. There's going to be copyright issues up the yin yang. You think you've got copyright issues now? But these companies are going to actually destroy and cause chaos in the courts. Good luck to them.
But you know what? And you just said it. Good luck to them, because to be real honest here, Keith, nobody cares.
I do. And Rick
I care. No, I care. Rick cares.
Christian Hessen.
People, yes. There are people like that. When I say nobody cares, I mean the people that are out there listening, the kids that are buying the stuff.
That is the problem. It's these
they
companies.
Don't care.
And those people have been over 50,000 that one company's got. 50,000. And he calls it, we have 50,000 producers. What?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, even now, when you think about someone like a Beyonce, just for example, she has about 9 or 10 producers per song, because each one is doing some function. And it's like, what has happened? Has music become so fragmented that it's lost the soul of music?
Hopefully, people will wake up to this, but it'll only happen.
Things are changing so
if
much.
Rick and the likes of me open our traps once in a while and say something about it. Hopefully it'll influence 1 or 2 people in the right direction. Anybody want to shoot the town in flames? Am I wrong?
No, definitely not. I think that we need to do what we do best. I play music better than I pretend to play music, or take things off sounds and all that, even though it's fantastic and brilliant. So I do best with what I do best. If I go to a producer and he wants to use funny things and stuff and it sounds good, it's fine with me. But I think staying authentic to what you do. So let me ask you a crazy question. We're heading towards the end, sadly, Keith. I'm sorry. We could talk all bloody night. I know. It's so emotional. I think this has been an incredible. We could have talked for. Yeah, I know. As long as you don't have to wear a mask, I'm happy. Do you think, I'm saying to you right now, right here in your life now, do you think you've used all your talents to the best of your advantages?
I think so. I've tried very hard. I think I made mistakes. Some of my decisions may not have been great. Maybe my choices should have been something else. Maybe I should have stayed in end of 72 and stayed in England then. And who knows what would have happened. Been a milkman. Be a milkman for 6 months or a year until you can get into some little band or whatever. Get to meet people.
Yes.
And you never know, you're delivering the milk and you land up at, back then, George Harrison's house or something,
Exactly. Say, hey, George, can I come and hang with you and the boys while I deliver the milk? Yeah, I think no, but I like what you said, because I think, as I said earlier, we just do the best we can with what we got. We try and be authentic. Josh just said something interesting about copyright is lyrics and melody. Harmony is regarded expendable. We just sort of have to adapt. And that's very interesting, Josh, because he's also in the thick of it. He's there, he's playing. I think, and whatever you've done, Keith, you've got to say, you've had the awards, you've had a Billboard Award, you've had a Cora Award, you've had a nominee for a Grammy, biggest album in France, biggest selling world music album. I mean, you can't, whatever other choices you made or didn't make cannot change what you've done and what you've achieved. And I think that is what we have to remember.
For me, it's like, I have to say that whatever's happened, I've got my regrets. I've had a few, too few to mention. I did it my way.
There's a song like that. I'm sure we could write something good like that.
Yeah, it's a. You've got to look at it as a platform, a learning curve. All of it.
Sure.
You're never going to get there if you think
you're never going to get there.
Well,
that's it.
Sorry, let me wake you all up. Like it's a long journey. If you want to get past C, A minor, F, and G, it's a long journey.
Well, I chose just to go with the norms.
It's a wonderful journey.
Of course it is. It's a beautiful journey. I mean,
keep learning.
When I say yes, it's when you think you know everything. It's when you actually lose the whole bloody plot, because I don't think anybody ever knows anything. You are a special artist. You are unique to you. Derek has just said, Hutch, continue to be yourself, because the others are already taken. And I like that.
Yeah.
If I could just say the last question, and we're going to end off with a Johnny Clegg video, of course, because we want to see that. Firstly, I want to thank you. You've been so candid and so open, and it's been such an easy interview for me, and I know that everybody that's been watching has absolutely enjoyed it thoroughly. So thank you for your time. You see? Thank you for your time, my darling.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Brian Mulder as well. Good one, Keith. Be safe, remain healthy, best for 2021 and beyond. Brian Mulder, we love Brian to death.
Hello, Brian. How's it going? Peanut butter conspiracy, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Brian, continue to do very good things. And Emma Ellis, thank you so much. Just everybody that came on tonight to say hi. We so appreciate you all. Without you, this is not a show. It's just a little chat between two people, but I don't care because I love it. I'm having such fun talking to these people. And again, Keith, thank you for giving me your time tonight. I hope you got something out of it.
Oh, yeah.
And
the check's in the mail, isn't it?
The check's in the mail, but don't wait too long. The mail from South Africa could take years. But I'm just saying. But these shows are all rewatchable on YouTube, on the DiscovrTV channel, or on my Facebook page, Cindy Alter Live Entertainment. So I'm going to ask you one more question before we go to video and say goodnight to everybody. Looking back at everything, so you've said, yes, I might have regrets, I might have done this, what have I accomplished, etc., etc. Right here and right now, with all these things in mind, and you sitting right here, you've got your beautiful wife with you, you're living in Ireland, in this green, gorgeous place. What really matters to you right now?
I would say good health is an important factor, but musically, I'm in a wonderful place and position to be able to write just about every day.
Yes, wow.
since I've been here, I've put the Fazioli Contemplations Library together, over 100 pieces for piano. And then I've got a folder of other stuff. Like there's this Afro-Celtic thing happening.
Okay.
And there's over 100 tracks in that folder. Not complete,
Whoa.
you know.
But all just started something. I mean, it's like, whoa.
Some of them are 7 minutes long, and others are a minute long, or a fragment, an idea, a sound, or something. But there's quite a lot of material.
There's a lot of creativity going on there.
You know? And of course, you know about my quadrilogy, don't you? Which is 4 hours, 44 minutes, and 44 seconds long. It's mentioned on the list of stuff I gave you. Yeah, it's a wee ditty.
A wee ditty.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but we don't have time to play it tonight, my dear.
Anyway, so there's lots of music, by the way, to anybody who wants to have a listen. There's a couple of 100 tracks sitting on Reverb Nation. Just put
please
Reverb
let us.
Nation,
Yes,
you know.
that's
I'm
anybody wants to listen.
On my website too. So there we go. Yeah. So
yes, we want to know where we can find your music.
That's the one thing. Just keep going, enjoy the journey. It's fantastic.
I love it. And thank you for that, because that's the piece of advice we were waiting for.
Yeah.
Just keep going and enjoy the journey. I love you all for coming back, and I love my artists that come and say hi and talk to me. Thank you. And Discover TV for giving me this platform. All of you just stay well, take care of yourselves, peace and love always. And let's play out with the Johnny Clegg. Whoa, thank you.
Strange behavior. Every man has to be his own savior. I know I can make it on my own if I try. Oh, I'm searching for a great heart to stand me by underneath the African sky. A great heart to stand me by. I'm searching for the spirit of the great heart to hold and keep me by. Searching for the spirit of a great heart under African sky. Sometimes I feel that you really know me. Sometimes there's so much you could show me. Highway of stars across the heaven, whispering song of the wind in the grass. There's a rolling thunder across the savannah, hope and a dream at the edge of the sky. And your life is a story like the wind. Your life is a story like the wind. I'm searching for the spirit of the great heart to hold and keep me by. I'm searching for the spirit of the great heart under African sky. Sometimes I feel that you really know me. Sometimes there's so much you could show me. All along, all along. Goodbye, say goodbye.